The wheels on this BMW S1000RR are carbon fiber. Wait, you can't really see it. Woo, there you go. Look at that weave. We're gonna find out if carbon fiber wheels are truly worth it. What other kinds of wheels are there out there in the world of motorcycling, and should you even consider something like a set of carbon fiber wheels on your motorcycle? Let's find out. Motorcycle wheels live a hard life. They have to be strong enough to withstand the forces of impact going down the road and support the weight of a bike and rider. When you think about it, bike and rider is upwards of 600 pounds, so these things have to be strong enough. They're also unsprung weight, meaning that it's not handled by the suspension components on the motorcycle. If you look at the fork and the rear shock, it's handling the weight of the bike and the rider. The wheels are sitting below that, so they're unsprung weight. Unsprung weight is really important to get right on a motorcycle because too heavy and you'll vastly affect the handling of the motorcycle because of the gyroscopic forces. Imagine if your wheels each weighed 50 pounds, it would not be fun to ride. Conversely, if your wheels weighed 5 pounds, it might be too light and not strong enough to handle the weight of the rider and the bike. Modern day street wheels are typically one-piece cast items. Those are the cheapest way to make them because they also have to support tubeless tires. The vast majority of street bikes on the day-to-day are tubeless because it's just easier to run and ride with and you can hold higher PSI in them. Spoked wheels and tubed wheels are typically reserved for off-road riding, where you can run lower PSI and you need the wheel to be able to absorb the impact forces of motocross jumps or hard enduro riding. So our wheel needs to be strong enough, needs to hold pressure, needs to absorb the impact forces, and it needs to roll smooth and nice. So what can we build it out of? There's a wide variety of materials that you can build a motorcycle wheel out of. The first material that people started making wheels out of was steel. One of the reasons steel was used for wheels in the first place was because it was strong, it was plentiful, it was inexpensive, and you could bend it to the right shape of the wheel. In days past, those utilized spokes and tubes, and it was just an old school way of setting up a wheel for a motorcycle. You might still find examples of steel wheels in old standard bikes. You're thinking like your 80s UJMs, or maybe even in a old Harley or something like that. The next material that wheels are commonly made out of is aluminum. Aluminum is a great material to make wheels out of because it's cheap, it's relatively lightweight, and relatively easy to make as well. Typically, you'll see cast aluminum wheels in bikes like a Yamaha R6 or an Aprilia RS660, or basically any standard street naked bike or sport bike on sale today. Occasionally, you can find wheels that instead of being cast, they're actually forged. That makes them a little bit stronger, but they do tend to be a little bit more expensive when you do that as well. The next level up in wheel materials are magnesium alloys. These are pretty rare. You only find these in kind of top of the line bikes, and that's because they're really expensive, really overbuilt for street use, and honestly, you don't really need them. Magnesium alloy wheels are typically the gold standard for racing motorcycles, track day specials, or a bike that you just want to squeeze every last ounce of performance out of. Popular examples nowadays being sold that come with magnesium alloy wheels would be something like the Panigale V4S from Ducati. And finally, of course, at the tippy top of the scale, you have carbon fiber wheels. These are incredible. They're using laminate pieces of carbon fiber wrapped and pressed in such a way that provides incredible rigidity, incredible strength, and incredible lightweight. Carbon fiber wheels are pretty darn rare to find in a street bike, but this BMW S1000RR with the M package actually comes equipped with it. And it's pretty cool because it's a giveaway bike over on yammynoob.co. We're giving away this motorcycle to a lucky fan of the channel. Head over to the website, and every dollar you spend will be an entry to win. Become a member and you can pool your entries and allow yourself to assign your entries towards this motorcycle or redeem them for store credit later down the road. Go and check it out in the link in the description because this is a spicy little meatball. Carbon fiber wheels do have inherent disadvantages though. In days past, they were viewed as being brittle, and also you can have something called delamination that happens with carbon fiber wheels. That means that the pressed pieces start to fracture and split apart, meaning that your wheel probably is going to be thrown in the dumpster. On top of that, carbon fiber wheels are incredibly expensive. Over a regular wheel, they're something like 10 times the cost. Carbon fiber wheels can run as low as $1,500 or $2,500 per wheel, depending on what company you go with. So carbon fiber wheels are lighter, they're stronger, and they seem to be the best option for going as fast as possible. So what's all the fuss about lighter weight, and why don't we see these in any proper racing series like MotoGP or World Superbike? As we mentioned, a lighter weight wheel contributes to unsprung mass. Think about it this way, if you're going down the road and your motorcycle hits a bump, the wheel's gonna get put up in the air. At that point, it's the suspension's job to catch it, damp it, and put it back down in a reasonable way. If that weight is heavier and heavier, your suspension has to work harder and harder to do its job. A lighter weight wheel is going to make it so much easier for the suspension to do its job, and it will allow you to run better suspension settings on your motorcycle for both street and track. On the racetrack, a lighter front wheel and rear wheel also gives you better feel at the tire. If there's less rotating mass happening at the front of your bike, you're going to be able to get a better sense of the contact patch on the front tire as well. You have to also remember that motorcycles have 3 gyroscopes on them: the front wheel, the rear wheel, and the crank inside of the engine. All of these have to balance in harmony in order for the motorcycle's handling to work correctly. It's why MotoGP engineers work so hard on designing a crank that's the right shape, the right size, and the right weight. If you have lighter gyroscopes at the front and the rear, that allows the inner gyroscope to do its job a little better and give you more predictable handling. If your heavy-ass gyroscopes in the front and rear of the motorcycle are throwing everything off, you're not gonna have a fun time handling the bike. Anecdotally, I've ridden carbon fiber wheels both on street and on track, and the only way I can really discern the difference on track is when I ride it back to back with a traditional motorcycle with the same setup. Otherwise, it just has a kind of nebulous, better feeling. But as we mentioned, MotoGP and World Superbike currently have rules that do not allow carbon fiber wheels on the grid. Now, why is that? Well, in 1984, Freddie Spencer tried out some carbon fiber wheels on his MotoGP bike, and he had something called delamination happen to him. He had an accident, he got back on his bike, and the wheels actually cracked, and it caused a whole bunch of issues. Because it isn't readily apparent whenever a carbon fiber wheel cracks or fractures in a racing condition where you might have to jump back on your bike and continue racing or get it back out to the pits, it causes a very big safety concern. That's why most top-level machines are running magnesium alloy wheels. They're stronger, they're more predictable, and they don't delaminate because it's made out of metal. Technology has also advanced in such a way nowadays that magnesium alloy wheels are just about as light as carbon fiber wheels, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. In fact, the Ducati Street Fighter V4S that we had here on the channel back a few years ago had magnesium alloy wheels, the Marchesini forged magnesium wheels from the factory, and they were incredibly light. So think about it this way. Although carbon fiber is technically stronger than magnesium, its stiffness causes certain issues that cause that delamination I talked about. It doesn't have as much flexibility or pliability and causes some issue under heavy braking or crashing, especially if you crash your motorcycle and get it back out and you go to heavy brake, the wheel can just fall apart. Magnesium wheels can be forged as one single piece, whereas carbon fiber wheels have to be put together as a composite. And given that technology has advanced, there's not a significant weight savings advantage to using carbon fiber over magnesium, meaning that most race teams opt for the magnesium anyways. So yeah, what's the TLDR? Come on, just give us a rundown. So here's the long and the short of it. If you want to go seriously racing, you're an expert level club racer, or you're part of a professional World Superbike type of team, which you already know this if you are, and I'm repeating back to you anyways what you already know, you should get magnesium alloy wheels. They're the best for a reason, all the top teams use them, and you're gonna have a really good time. Carbon fiber wheels, though, have their place. If you're a street rider and you're just looking to flex up on your buddies, they are really, really cool, and they will provide you a lighter weight and ultimately a better feel at the tire. I think you just need to weigh your budget and options carefully, but I will say this, I don't think it's wise to invest in carbon fiber wheels until you've invested in really great tires, your suspension components, and lighten the weight up in other places that don't include the wheels. You can get way better bang for buck using a lightweight set of sprockets, lightweight carriers, better ball bearings inside of the wheels, and other things that are going to allow it to roll nice and smooth as well. Carbon fiber wheels to me are a kind of final touch sparkle that you could get if you really want to make your motorcycle stand out. Otherwise, you should just stick with the stock wheels that you have on your bike. And as I mentioned, this BMW S1000RR did come with carbon fiber wheels, so I will be sticking it with this bike. Head over to yammynoob.co and check out this giveaway. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you think about carbon fiber wheels, if you think they're worth it, if you have them, and what you think all about wheels in general. I hope you learned something today. I'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Oh, I love being here inside of the warm embryonic fluid of Valentino Rossi. Me and him just sharing foods together. Maybe he's gonna eat some pizza or some pasta here in the hills of Tavullia. But you know where else it's nice and warm and cozy is this next episode of Yammy Noob you can click on right over here. I'd love for you to watch it. But anyways, I'm gonna stay here hanging out. Me and him might go on to the track later, but I'll catch you guys later.